have arrived.
Welcome to Call, gentlemen.
That's right. Welcome.
to
And not
Call.
only to Call, welcome to the Pastors Roundtable.
Yes,
Welcome to the Pastors Roundtable.
At Called here in Louisville, Kentucky. No, not
Well,
Louisville.
where
We're
are
in
you?
Lexington.
Lexington,
Lexington, Kentucky.
We're so used to being in different places.
I know, right?
And all of a sudden now we don't know where we are.
My Lord, my Lord, my Lord. Well, listen, if you're joining us here on the Pastors Roundtable on our live stream, we want to welcome those of you that are joining from many different platforms. I want to start with welcoming the Southeastern Conference there in Florida. We are streaming to Southeastern Conference's YouTube channel and Facebook page. If you are watching from Southeastern and you're in the chat, I need you to drop a big SEC in the chat for me. If you are in the house and you are from Southeastern Conference, I need you to say, whoop, whoop. Hey, all right. We got some there. Who else do we have with us, Raj?
We normally stream to the South Central Conference, so we want to welcome the South Central Conference for joining us here. If you are in the chat from South Central Conference, I want you to enter a SCC in the chat. And if you're in the house, give us a big woo-woo from South Central. All right.
Well, listen. I want a Florida Conference in the house. If you're in the house from Florida Conference, let me hear you say, yeah. Ah, there you go. All right.
All right. We should have mic'd the crowd.
That's right. They're saying our volume is too low online, so we want to make sure we do that. And listen, if you're listening on the chat, we want you to share this feed. This is the time we ask people to share.
Right. And we don't normally stream this time of day, but this is a special event, special occasion.
Special occasion. So some of you are wondering what's happening. Well, as you know, the North American Division is having their ministerial convention in Lexington. Normally it happens right before GC, but we know this year GC was a little different than normal.
That's right.
And so this convention was already set. It was postponed 2 years ago, and they were able to reset it to this time. But GC actually had to be reset 2 weeks earlier.
Wow.
So that's what happened. Normally GC is around the first week of July. So that's why the things have changed. So we're here in Lexington, and we have an opportunity to be in this beautiful tech lab.
Yes, indeed. Hey, look, I'm looking in this chat, and I see Patrick Williams from Omaha, Nebraska at the Sharon SDA Church.
Yes.
I see a note about Victor Gore joining all the way from the UK today. Welcome, Victor. I'm just going to ask those of you that are here live, if you're not from any of those places that we just named, when I count it, we're going to count to three together. We just want you to shout out whatever your home. Do we want a home conference? We want a home state? We want a city? What do we want?
Whatever you could remember.
Let's go with conference. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
All right.
I heard New York Conference.
I heard New York over everything else.
Yes.
There's something about New York. Man. New York is a powerful state.
Good stuff. Hey, very quickly, before we bring our first guest up, let's let those who are in the building, this may be some of their first time being familiar with the Pastors Roundtable.
Pastors Roundtable.
Dr. Henry, tell them in 30 seconds, what is the Pastors Roundtable? What do we do?
Listen, the Pastors Roundtable, what we do, we have a show that comes on every Sabbath afternoon, 4 o'clock. We talk about relevant issues. We bring in guests from all over, from different parts of the denomination. We bring in guests from the union, from the conference, from even the North American Division. And we talk about things that we got to talk about so that ministry can go forward. Our job on the Pastors Roundtable is to begin the discussion so that we can make sure that ministry is effective. And so that's what we do on the Pastors Roundtable.
I think one of the ways we like to put it is where ministry and structure intersects.
That's right. That's right.
We started having conversations among ourselves just on the phone. And pastors, those of you that are here pastors, you know that we do this. And we talk about stuff that normally we do not talk about in public. And it was at the beginning of the pandemic, we started saying, man, this COVID-19, this pandemic is going to impact and affect not just the everyday life, but the structure of the church and how we do mission. And we decided we wanted to start taking some of the pastor water cooler conversations and kind of normalize them. And so that's where we started back in March of 2020. And the Lord has been blessing, and we've been moving ever since.
Praise God. Praise God.
All right.
So listen, can we bring on our first guest?
Let's bring on our first guest.
Listen, we want to bring on our guest tonight or this afternoon. He is a guru. He is a preacher. He is the pastor of pastors.
Yes.
Listen, if I had an award, I would give it to him right now. And that is Pastor Jose Cortez. Why don't you come on up here?
Come on up.
And we want you to be our guest here at the Pastors Roundtable.
Can I hear everybody in the room say, Jose?
Oh, come on.
Well,
Hey,
preacher,
so good to be here, guys.
listen,
It's good to have you, man.
we are glad that you're here. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do first,
Hey, listen,
your
listen.
responsibility, and we'll get right into our topic
Before I
today.
tell you any of that stuff, I just want to congratulate you guys. Because I remember at the beginning of the pandemic, you started small. You know, were these three guys on Saturday afternoon, you know, doing a great job. But little by little, you have become established. As the, no, it's not just one, it's the. You know, pastors roundtable. So I'm so grateful for what you do, and it is good that you're here at the Tech Lab and at the Called Convention. I'm excited for you guys. So I just wanted to get that out of the way, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Pastor, what do you do? What's your responsibility?
I play center field for the New York Yankees.
That's what I'm talking
That's what I do, man.
All right, let's wake him up now, and let's get the 9 to 5.
Time to come back to reality here. Yes, I am one of the associate directors for the Ministerial Association, and my responsibility is to lead evangelism, church planting, church growth, revitalization, any of those good things, you know, that have to do with the kingdom multiplying.
Excellent.
And how long have you been doing that for?
I've been doing that since 2014.
2014.
Man, it's been a long time, and it feels like a little time, you know. So I guess when you're having a good time, time goes by quickly, you know.
So listen, Jose, we're here at a very interesting meeting that you had a hand in helping to dream and to put together. And one of the biggest things that we're dealing with at this convention is resiliency. Now, in evangelism, obviously there are some particular skill sets that you need for that. But in terms of a pastor, a good leader, studies have shown that one of the best qualities in good leaders is being resilient.
Correct.
Talk to us about pastoral resilience, particularly when it has to deal with evangelism. How important is that?
Well, we have something that is a bit sad for the church in North America. And one of those things that our pastors are not lasting. Okay, we have the older generations of pastors. They have lasted, and some of them have lasted a little bit too long. And no one said amen, but hey, you know, I guess we may have some of the older generations.
Some
really
of them
sitting
might
right
hear
here,
you.
So and perhaps some of the reasons is financial. It's difficult at times to retire. And some of them are wanting to retire, some can't. But right now, in the next 8 to 10 years, we have about 2,500 pastors that will be retirement age all across North America. But at the same time, we're seeing some of our younger generation pastors that they come in and they're not able to stay. And I have a feeling that some of that may be our fault.
Wow.
You know, when you take a younger pastor with a spouse, both professionals, and you put them in a place like they did to us, because sometimes we want to do to the younger generations what they did to us. You know, we want them to suffer as much as we did. So we put them in a corner somewhere where the spouse cannot find a job, where the pastor is feeling isolated.
Wow.
And that makes it difficult for the pastor to last. That resilience is difficult. Okay.
Wow.
So. When it comes to resilience, and we're going to take a lot of time in this convention to address resiliency.
Okay.
All right? So all the way from mental health, all the way from dealing with difficult bosses. And I know you guys know nothing about that because you all had great bosses. Amslin, what's going on? Everything okay? All right? So,
I have the best boss in the world.
all right, amen. All right. So listen, we're going to deal with all of those things because we would love for our pastors to last.
What is interesting to me is that some of those topics were kind of like taboo. We never talked about that in the pastorate. It was as if this was a secret society. And so now, what mitigated the opportunity for us to really begin to tap into to scratch where it's really itching?
Well, one of the things that made us think about that was the fact that we've noticed some of our good up-and-coming pastors, okay? People such as yourselves, all right? Going into some other types of businesses, all right?
Like podcasting and live
podcasting, and we have a lot of good guys, people whom I love dearly, going into coaching and doing all of those things, and we love that for them. But we wish that we could have them here with us, you know? So one of those things that we're dealing with right now, for example, you know, you get a pastor and you put him in a church for 4 years.
Right.
Okay? And right when the pastor begins to blossom and do a great job, we take the pastor out of that church and we send him to another place, you know? And so there is not that sense of, you know, let me be here for a while and let me do significant and relevant ministry. At times, we're not giving our pastors the opportunity to do some of those things. So,
right. So you're mentioning some of the factors that impact the pastor's success, and also some of the factors
the desire to stay.
The desire to stay. But how can we change that? Like, what are some? I mean, we could talk to pastors about being resilient. You know, there's a study about the adverse childhood experience and how children, when they grow up, there's certain things and certain characteristics that they have, and we go back to their experience and we identify some of the things that took place in their experience. But as a pastor, we could talk about resiliency, but what can we really do to, you know, impact, to make them more impactful and make the system in a way so that pastors can stay?
Well, as pastors, we need to continue talking to our administrators. And on our part, as administrators and church leaders, we need to listen to what our pastors are saying. And I think that is a conversation that is beginning to take place. It's taking place in our circles with all of our ministerial directors. It's taking place in our conversations with conference presidents. It's taking place in our conversations with administrators all across North America. We need to realize that we need to take good care of our pastors so our pastors can do a better job for the Lord. And that is on our side. But we also have another side, which is the church. Yeah. You know, we have some very good saints, and we have some
very, very good saints.
Yeah, and we have some angry saints. All right, and they at times make it difficult. But if we're going to be great pastors, we need to know how to minister to some of those people. You know, so that's all part of the deal, and that's some of the things that we're going to deal with right here at this convention.
I hear that there's something that's getting ready to take place, beginning, I believe, tonight or tomorrow night. I'm going to ask our audience if you would do something for me. If you take your hands, put them over your head like this, and just go like this. And I'm going to see if Jose knows, can tell us a little bit about what this is. What's this look like, Jose?
That looks like a shark. We have the Shark Tank.
Shark Tank.
Beginning tonight. And we had over 100 applications. And what is a Shark Tank? You know, similar to what you see on TV, you know, you come up with some great ideas and creative ideas, and you pitch those ideas before a panel of judges, all right? And we have some people who invest money and say, hey, you know, we like that idea, we like that other idea. We're doing the same thing with ideas for evangelism.
Nice.
So we want to talk about some of the most creative ideas for evangelism anywhere in North America.
So talk to us. Let's connect those two concepts. We talked about just now resiliency, but now it looks like we have leadership, even at the North American Division, who is willing...
What do you mean, even a North American Division?
willing to invest in ideas that happen at a local church level.
Let me say
is
one
there a
thing.
Connection between the
Let
resiliency
me say one
and
thing.
that?
For years, we thought that evangelism is what some of our people do, and that we have to do what our big-time evangelists have done for years. Not realizing that some of our big-time evangelists are really good, but they have a lot of funding. You know, some of our local church pastors don't have all of that funding.
Mercy.
So we have local church pastors with little funding trying to do and duplicate what some of our big-time evangelists are doing with a lot of funding. And listen, I love the guys. I love our stars. We need our stars. You know, we love them. But we need a constellation.
Yes,
we
you
need
do.
we
Wow,
need
I
we
like
need
it.
our local
Constellation.
church pastors doing the work at the local church. And so we're talking to these pastors and saying, what is it that you can do? You don't need to fight in somebody else's armor. Get your own armor.
Come on.
And we want to be able to fund some of that. So we have the top price tonight is going to be $20,000.
Wait a minute, wait.
hold on, wait.
So I want you to say that again now. You're talking about $20,000.
$20,000 for the winner of the top prize. For the second is $10,000. For the third is $5,000. For the fourth is $3,000, and then fifth is going to take home $2,000. Not home, it's going to take it to the church, right? Amen.
Okay.
So,
all right.
So you're saying that one of the things that can help resiliency is resource.
resourcing and flexibility. And flexibility.
I see that in the chat.
Yes.
All right? And flexibility, because sometimes, you know, we want our pastors to grow the kingdom, but we're not giving them permission to do what it takes
Wow.
to what we need to do in order to grow the kingdom.
My Lord.
So we want them to do what so-and-so did and what you know, it's like it's time for every pastor to find their armor and to begin to fight in his or her armor.
There's a question in the chat right there from Doreen Brown. She says, what qualities constitute a good pastor? I know we talked about resiliency. I know you talked about flexibility. What are some of the other
My goodness.
qualities?
Well, we have a few things. We have a few core qualities, and this is something that we didn't come up with on our own. We talked to pastors, administrators, and elders, and there were some of the qualities that were given by the collective group of a good pastor. Good pastor needs to be good in the area of character, needs to have character. Okay, so we like to begin with character. Needs to be good in the area of management, all right? That's another core quality of a pastor. Worship, the area of worship. Doesn't mean that you do everything, but you need to be able to kind of comprehend and get a little bit of a grasp for what worship is, you know? You need to have a good grasp in the area of evangelism, okay? And evangelism is not just preaching. It has to do with social justice.
Wow.
It has to do because you're never going to be able to baptize someone that you cannot advocate for.
There you
Amen?
go. There you
so
go.
leadership, you know, and some of these things. So those are some of the qualities that, according to what you guys said, pastors, church members, and conference administrators, some of the qualities that make a good pastor. All right.
Hey, good stuff.
So is there a plan or a vehicle in how these qualities did not come when we started? These qualities came out within the last, 10, 15 years?
And that is a reason, because we want our pastors to know what is expected of them. Okay? So we're working in the Ministerial Association in creating kind of like a roadmap that takes you all the way from the moment you get the call from God as a youngster to be a pastor, or as a second career person to be a pastor, all the way to retirement. Okay? And that includes good equipping in all of these areas that I just mentioned. It includes equipping in the areas of finances, because, you know, pastors don't make a whole lot of money, but at the same time, you know, we're able to survive, all right? So, but we need to know if we're going to be able to retire when the day comes,
Right.
we need to be able to invest in our retirement, to put away some money. So when the time comes, we don't need to be dropping dead and preaching at the same time.
Wow.
Okay?
Yeah.
And I see some guys doing that right now.
Wow. That's awesome. Listen, Jose, thank you. This was awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, the outfielder for the New York Yankees.
All right.
The Yankees.
And
Yankees.
the Yankees, yeah. And our associate director in the North American Division Ministerial Team. Thank you
Hey,
so much.
I love you guys. It's really good to be here.
Before you leave, Jose, we want to just share with you one of the newly minted Pastors Roundtable pins.
Thank you so
All
much,
right.
man. I know that someone in this table, around this table, must have been a youth director at some point. I'm taking it, guys. Love you guys.
God
All
bless.
right,
Thank you.
blessings. All right,
care.
all right.
Wow.
One more time, everybody. Give it up for Jose.
Listen, Pastor Wade, that was some good stuff.
Yeah.
That was some good stuff.
Pastors have to be resilient. And again, I want to go back to that study, the adverse childhood experience. The reason why there are so many issues within our societies because of the adverse experience that children had when they're young. And it's just like, look, with pastors, the experience that they had, especially when they first joined the ministry, it kind of taints them, and that's why some people are leaving, because of the experience that they have. So if we can impact that early experience
Right.
for our pastors, then maybe they may want to stay in for a little while longer.
I see. We're going to put this conversation on hold because we have joining us at
All
the
right.
table right now our main man, the leader of the North American Division Ministerial Department, Elder Ivan Williams.
It is so good to see you,
we
Doc.
are honored and delighted to have you with us, Doc. Thank you so much for taking the time to stop by Pastor's Roundtable today.
It's a privilege to be here, and I was drawn in by the applause. My goodness. Yeah.
Doc Williams, we're so glad to have you here. We know that the North American Division loves their pastors.
Yes.
Yes.
Share with us what caused you to have something of this magnitude
Have mercy.
for a division. We know about it at the conference level, but
Right.
why would you do this at the division level?
Well, there's something about a commonness. I mean, this division is crazy large, from Micronesia to Bermuda, from the top of Canada down to where you all are in Florida, in Miami. And one of the challenges of pastoring is isolation. So this is an event that allows us to come together to say, hey, we're not alone, and that we don't have to live in isolation.
Wow.
And as we come together, I mean, this is a common brother and sisterhood of people who go through what you and I go through.
Right.
And so bringing us together was huge. This year, we're focused on whole life resilience. The last 2 years, we've been, in this
Yeah, we know.
pandemic, and we've been on this front-face ministry. And there's a sense that, hey, man, it's a blessing to get together. And we want to encourage pastors to keep on keeping on.
That's
wow.
good stuff. Elder, can you, well, first of all, Melody Germany says, that's my classmate, Ivan Williams. She's in the chat there, and she's
Have
saying
mercy.
hello.
Yes, tell her hello.
But there may be others who are watching today who they just tuned in, and they don't really know the context or the scope of this event. So could you just briefly, I know you gave us a little bit, but who's here, who's
Okay.
invited, what's the objective?
Well, in this division, we have 9 unions and 1 mission field. In fact, people don't know this, but Guam, Micronesia has an island footprint that's larger than the United States map.
Wow.
So you can be on island hopping forever.
My Lord.
Wow.
And then we have 58 conferences. And so we have people from all over. We even have people from London, from Africa, several countries in Africa. And this is a place where we want pastors to be able to be equipped. In fact, 4 words. Equipped, connected, valued, and I knew I was going to forget the last one. Lord have mercy. And it's not supported. It'll come to me.
Right.
But those 3 words are we're emphasizing for pastors to be renewed and encouraged. My prayer is, and we've been praying the last 40 days, we don't want pastors to leave here the same way they came.
I got a question for you. I just attended a workshop.
Value.
Oh, valued. Okay.
I think I said value.
Yeah.
Equip, value, connect, and give me the other one.
Inspired.
Inspire.
All right.
That's it.
Listen, you got a lot of.
Came from on high. Where did it come
I was
from?
gonna say you got a lot of help in the room. That's
A lot of help in the
beautiful.
room.
Listen, I just attended a workshop just a
Speak
couple
up.
of days ago.
Preach. Use your preaching voice.
Use the preaching voice?
Yes.
All right. I just attended a workshop a couple of days ago, and they said that pastors are leaving the pastoral ministry at an alarming rate. That's what they said. What are some of the reasons why pastors leave the pastoral ministry?
Okay. I'm glad you asked that question because the first statement is not true. We've done research with Seventh-day Adventist pastors. I think it was 87% don't see themselves doing anything else.
Oh, wow.
And I can share this research with you to put on Roundtable for future.
Yes.
So you can actually have the details. But some of the reasons people have left, and we've talked to 14 of them. We talked to, in research, 14 pastors who left being Seventh-day Adventist pastors. I'll give you what my recollection is. Disillusionment and lack of support. Conflict with some person or entity. Desiring to do something that they felt was better for their family.
Okay.
And I think one more, I'm trying to remember that report. It was not feeling like they could be, quote unquote, the cheerleaders for the church's
Stance.
messaging.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm paraphrasing, but
Sure,
that's in
yeah,
essence
yeah.
what it is.
I mean, as you would list in each of those, I could personally say, and I'm gonna be a little vulnerable here, I could personally say each one of them has come through my mind.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've either checked the box or I was about to check the box. But one of the things that I'm saying, if we know these things,
Yeah.
why is change so hard for us to deal with these things?
Yeah.
But while you come up with that answer, I just want to stop and say, I want to affirm the fact that we have leadership that is bothering to ask the questions.
Come on now.
That is
Yes.
bothering to take the time to find why people leave. And I just want
Yeah.
to affirm that and
That's
say
good stuff.
thank you
That's
so
good
much
stuff,
for
yes.
doing that.
We are actually going to make that public on our app during this
Wow.
convention.
Wow.
So people will be able to see and read for themselves. What was your question
The
again?
question was, why
Bishop
did it take
Wade?
so long? Why did it take that long for us to deal with this? Because this is not something new.
No.
You know, we have learning that pastors have been suffering in silence for many years on some of these issues.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I tell you what, we are layered organizationally. And each organizational leader has to have the heart to want to address it. We're doing it at the division, and we're very good at research. Hey, don't get me wrong. We have research departments.
Wow.
We're very good at research, but once we find out the malady or the issue, what we haven't been as good at is being a part of the solution and supporting what we know the solution needs. And so I would say, Roger, what hinders it is, unfortunately, the organizational leader at a conference, at a union, at a division, at a GC, they have to have the will to want to address it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
The division has zero authority. We have influence, but we don't have authority. Here's the data. Please read the data, understand the data, and implement change.
But you know, I want to just throw something out. I think we're looking at it from the top down. I truly believe that because we have identified the issues can really be solved from the church level, not necessarily from the administrative level.
I agree.
That's
I
right.
think our members need to be informed
Very much.
of the issue and then empowered. They are empowered to make a change because they are the ones who really build this church from the ground up. And I think we need to give them the information and let them loose.
Roger, that's why change is not implemented, because the information doesn't get to them. So we need to do a better job of that, getting into our members.
Awesome,
We
awesome.
assume that if the pastor has the information,
That everybody else, mercy.
shall I
mercy,
keep
mercy.
going?
Wait a minute.
Doc, we have been delighted that you took
Yes,
the
sir.
time out to
Lord,
come and
man.
speak with us here at Pastors
Before you
Roundtable.
leave, what do you expect our pastors who are attending
Yes.
to gain
Yeah.
from
To
this
walk away from,
call
yes.
when they walk out of here on Wednesday
What's the
evening?
takeaway?
What should they walk away with?
Besides $20,000.
Yeah, I think Jose must have come before me.
He sure did.
An encouragement to keep on in ministry, tools to use that maybe they haven't thought of before, and a resurgence of their own call.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Because when you lose the call,
Mercy.
everything else ahead of you is foggy. And that's what I'm closing with, ministry in the fog.
Come on.
Love it, love it.
Love it.
God bless you
Ladies
all.
and gentlemen, Ivan Williams.
Praise the Lord for you.
Thank you,
Thank
Doc.
you so much. Elder, before you leave, we want to just share with you one of the newly minted Pastors Roundtable pins.
Come on, man. I tell you what, I'm in the club. I love it.
All right.
God bless you.
Wow.
Blessings,
Excellent,
blessings.
excellent.
All right.
Man, we
Wow.
are getting a lot of information, man.
Yeah,
I think that this workshop here, or this whole 3-day session, is going to be a great benefit to not only the pastor, but the family as well, and also the church.
Yes, yes, yes.
Listen, I hope those of you who are looking at the Pastors Roundtable online, if your pastor is not here, if you can make it happen in the
Send
next
them.
day or two, send them here.
Or send her.
them here or
Yeah.
send her here.
Yeah.
But if not, please make sure that they get the resources so they can be prepared to be better servants where you are.
Absolutely, absolutely. I see another preacher in the crowd that we talked to earlier. I heard him say that North American Division covered this place to this place, and he included Bermuda in that lineup. And I see Pastor Dr. Richard Martin.
All right, there you go.
Out in the audience.
The
We wanna
preacher.
invite him on up.
The
Join
preacher.
us for a few minutes here to sit at the Pastor's Roundtable. Rich.
Good to be here.
Good to see you, man. Good
Proud
to
of
have
you guys, of course.
Good to see you here. Listen, Richard, we were just elated when we saw the news broke
Yes.
that you are heading to one of the countries in the North American Division, and it's not the United States, to Bermuda.
That's right.
Are you Bermudan?
I'm not Bermudan, but my bride is Bermudan.
Come
Come on
on.
now.
All right now.
Hey, there she is. She's waving. All right.
Isn't that
Wow.
interesting? A pastor is willing to move for his wife.
his wife.
Hey, listen.
Hey, that must be a first.
Things are changing.
That's a change. Yes,
Well,
indeed.
well, Pastor, listen, I called Pastor Martin maybe a couple of weeks ago, tried to get him on the Pastor Roundtable, but I gotta put that in the schedule because his schedule is booked all the way, I think, to
he's
the
a busy
fall,
man.
maybe 2024 or
You guys know
2023.
how transitions are trying, but we know you guys are praying us through.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So Pastor Martin, listen, you are a leader. You've done well in ministry. God has blessed your ministry from the preaching, from the administration, and forward thinker, creative. Tell me some of the things that you love to do in ministry that you hope to bring to your new parish.
Well, one of the things has already been spoken by Pastor Cortez, Pastor Williams, and that is continuing to try to build innovative platforms. Some of my mentors and true norths in ministry pastored or began pastoring several decades ago. But it's interesting that now that I'm actually a part of this college of pastors, I get an opportunity to continue to follow in the likes of yourself footsteps in creating digital imprints. So as I survey the field in Bermuda, that's one of the things I'm really looking forward to doing in partnership with my colleagues there. Innovative digital platforms, man.
And I will be able to say, sharing that I've worked in that union.
Yes, sir.
I know Bermuda is going to be, it's a hotbed, and it's ripe for what you're about to do.
Most definitely. And I'm thankful for my leadership there, Pastor Manders, Pastor Tull, and others who have already expressed interest in investing in those initiatives. It's not just me, it's my colleagues there on the island as well. We see an awesome opportunity to make Bermuda just one of the territories that's a hub for digital ministry, not just for the island, but outside of the island as well.
Nice.
I'm going to go a little personal with you, Rich.
sure.
And we're talking about resiliency. Has there ever been a time in your ministry that you've wanted to quit?
Somebody asked me that recently, and my answer is not that I've wanted to quit ministry, but there have been days and weeks where I've wanted to quit on that season. And, thank God for community. That's really been one of the intervening saviors for me. Just the community of brothers that I have who have been sources of support. When I looked at you all, the Pastors Roundtable, can you imagine trying to navigate the pandemic without having weekly access to persons who know the journey, that you can ask questions to, hear feedback from? That has been my saving grace. Been in ministry for 7 years, and I can honestly say what has been an anchor and a source of support for me were the 4 or 5 guys, they know who they are, who have been accountability partners, who have been confidants, who've been affirmers, who have been critical at times when they needed to be, because we need that 360 friendship. And not on ministry at large, but on seasons. There have been some tough seasons, but thankfully I've had that Ecclesiastes 4 experience. Better are two than one.
Come on, preacher.
Because when you
Yes,
feel
sir.
as though you're kind of falling, you've got another one to lift you up. So I'm thankful for that.
That's awesome.
So you're here at Called. What are you expecting being here? What do you want to take away from? What are you looking for?
I'm expected to be educated. Like you all, I know that I do not have all of the answers. So my ears are wide open. I want to be educated, made aware to more ways to remain resilient in ministry, different innovative and new things that you can try. I just had a chance to stop by the podcast station there in the back. Shout out to my boy Caden. I don't know if you can hear us back there. But listen, that's something amazing. You've got a 2-mic, 1-camera setup. You can stop. And my wife and I put down a track, 5 minutes, and now we get to walk away with something on our jump drive.
Come on.
Can you imagine if people could come to church,
Yes.
raise a question, and in 5 minutes they could have their very own recorded podcast and say, here, share this with your family members and friends.
Lord,
That's
my
what
Lord.
you get at Call 2022. But in addition to education, I'm looking forward to transformation myself. I think that as pastors, we are always, eligible for God to change us. One word can change our lives.
That's right.
One interaction. I had a chance to come in contact with some seminary buddies that I haven't seen in 10 years since we left seminary. And they said, Richard, is that you? And we connected and caught up, and they told me how their kids had grown up. And we ended off with prayer. That single moment, just pastors and families praying together, was a transformative moment. And then finally, just inspiration. Looking forward to being inspired, to stay in the fight, to continue to give. This right here, the Pastors Roundtable. You guys have made it. I mean, how can, and listen, I thank God for the pens, but I want a pullover, man. What must I do to be saved? You know what I mean?
My Lord.
sure.
We'll
Appreciate you guys.
We'll talk to the boss and see what they say.
Yes, indeed.
All right. Rich, man, it's good to see you, man.
Likewise.
We are praying for you.
Yes.
Congratulations
Thank you.
on graduation and
Thank
the
you.
doctorate.
Appreciate
Right.
it.
What's a doctorate in?
Doctorate in Ministry and Transformational Leadership.
Woo! And what church are you going to, and what's the installation date?
Installation date is first weekend in August. Shout out to the Devonshire Church of Love in Bermuda. Looking forward to being there.
Awesome.
For sure. Appreciate you guys, brother.
All right.
Appreciate
Everybody,
it.
Dr. Richard Martin.
For sure. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Appreciate you, Raj.
Appreciate you.
We're going to give him a pen, Roger?
Yeah, that's your pen. There you go, sir.
I'm sorry, they want me to do it all the time. You just got a newly minted Pastors Roundtable pen.
You have the voice, Roger.
Yeah.
You're giving away voice.
I think it's the mic, man. Your
it
mic
the
is
mic?
powerful.
We're going to
Ladies
thank
and
DJ.
gentlemen, boys and girls.
All right.
Listen, there's one other person I want to talk to, and I don't know who that is yet. But we've been talking about resilience in ministry, and I think here in North America, I would be very interested to talk to one of our sisters in ministry and talk about the issue of resilience. I don't know if she is here. We got a lot of lights in our eyes, but are there any of our sisters that are currently or formerly working in ministry that would like to come and share with us for just a moment or two? All right. Okay. All right. We're looking like we don't have a lot of time left, so we're going to move to wrap that up.
That's right. Well,
We were hoping to have one more guest come, but we just found out that she's not going to be able to make it. So we're gonna hold that for another show.
Okay.
But we're just excited that we're here. Tiffany, yes, we're having a lot of fun
We're having
here.
a lot of fun here.
So
That's right.
Tiffany needs to come. Tiffany, you need to be here.
Oh, that's Tiffany. Okay,
Yeah. Tiffany needs to be here with her husband.
Well,
But we are going to do that. So anyway, guys, what are one of the key things we want to express in terms of the Pastors Roundtable being at Call?
Well, listen, one of the things that we want to make sure that people will get from Call is that the things that we're learning here are relevant, they're real, and they're resource.
listen. One of the things Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, and I was going to say, I want to just thank Rowan. I see Rowan over here. And we want to thank him for just making this thing possible along with the ministerial group and everybody else. Let's give Brother Rohan a hand clap right now.
He put up this tech lab.
Yeah.
So one of the things we talk about at Pastors Roundtable is tech, because we use tech to get our show out. And if you are here at the Call, you want to make sure you stop by the Tech Lab, because it is fire up in this place.
Absolutely.
There is all sorts of tech. You just heard Dr. Martin share a little bit about the podcast station. You'll get to see some of the latest tech out here. Logos is here. That's a high-tech touch software that deals with Bible and research. I see some ASI is here. The number of booths that are sharing technology in ministry. So you want to be a part of the Tech Lab. And there's some other presentations that will happen even here at the Pastors Roundtable. We talk about tech. We use tech every week. Matter of fact, before we went on, we couldn't even get an internet signal, not anybody's fault, but we had to get that tech right in order to make this show happen.
One of the things that I would love for people to leave with, and that I want to leave with, I am very interested in going around this tech lab, seeing what's going on. I'm looking forward to being able to connect and interact with preachers and ministers from various different roles of ministry to get ideas and to find out what they're doing and how they are doing it and how they feel about it. And because I'm that guy who I like to see an idea and then I'll take it and see how it fits into my context and I might tweak it or whatever. But that's one of the beauties about events like this, that you get to interact and connect and make friendships and relationships that can then take and shape and reshape ministry that works in our context. One other thing I want to say that I'd love for people to get is that when we started Pastors Roundtable, we didn't have any money, and nothing has changed.
That's right.
But we had an idea, and we sat down and we read some stuff. We figured out some stuff about microphones and streaming and cameras, and we're still trying to figure some of that stuff out. But I know that there are other pastors out there who have ideas and visions for doing ministry in this space or in any other space. And I just want to encourage you, don't wait until you've figured it all out.
Right.
Don't wait until somebody comes and dumps a bunch of money in your lap and says, here, you can do it. Do it. Put your feet in the water, step out, and you will see God begin to move some of that water out of the way and make a way for you. And so that's what I just want to encourage you to do. Don't wait. Do it. Do it and pray about it. As long as you've prayed about it and the Holy Spirit is leading,
That's
then
right.
just go ahead and do it, and you will see God make ways and open doors for you.
And that collaboration piece is so important.
Yes.
Networking. This place right here is filled with so much knowledge, so much understanding, network, collaborate, and people are willing to share. Why? Because we're working for one cause, and that is to share the love of Jesus Christ to a dying world.
That's right. That's right. That is so true. And the friends you make along the way, the community that you have. There's a lot of community that's here in terms of online community, tech community. They're willing to see you succeed. They want to see you succeed. So don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to look like you don't know. They will give you the answer, and believe it or not, you will be able to be successful right in your corner.
That's right. And listen, I don't know if anybody has a question out there. We want to just make sure that you are engaged in what we're doing here. If you have any question about anything about the Pastors Roundtable, or maybe another question that relates to getting information out to the people in the digital space, we're going to ask that you ask that question now, maybe in the chat. If you have a question, if you have maybe some topic that they would like to hear, maybe on the Pastors Roundtable, or maybe you have an idea on how to do ministry in a more impactful way on the digital space, we're going to give you that platform to do it right now. Listen, just a couple of days ago, actually yesterday, we were at the South Central Conference Camp Meeting 2022.
That's right.
And they did something very innovative, and maybe the innovator is here at the table that can kind of tell us a little bit about what happened.
Well, as you know, in this digital space, we do stream our worship services. But one of the things we realize is that normally we just turn it on and turn it off. And those of you who are watching via the screen don't get to interact with what's happening in the room. And so on yesterday, for the very first time in South Central history, we had a live desk at our camp meeting so that those who joined us via the internet were able to get a context of what they were watching.
Wow.
Good.
And I'm so glad that my colleagues who are here with me at the table, Dr. Henry and Pastor Paul, were able to be live in South Central to experience the South Central camp meeting and be our live desk hosts.
But that's because of your vision. It was your vision that got us.
It was a
be
wonderful
praised.
opportunity. Well, listen, for those of you that are in the chat and that are watching and you have questions about this, we want you to be able to drop that. If you don't ask it now, or if you're watching this later, which camera am I looking at? Just go ahead and drop that question in the comments section, and we will do our best to find a way to answer that. Those of you that are live and in the building, if you don't want to come up and ask a question now, you'll see the four of us. There's TJ over there doing our tech stuff. Everybody say, "Hey, TJ." But if you see us throughout the time and you just got a question that you want to ask us, feel free. We'll do our very best to tell you how little we know about the answer to your question.
And if we don't know, we know how to find the person to help you.
Absolutely.
So listen, one of the things as people are just burning to ask their question, right? You started to talk about how we got started, just the conversation that we had. It happened during the pandemic. So everybody was at home, people were quarantined, right? And we just started. We continued to get guests coming in from different places, and we talked about relevant issues that impact the ministry. And we talked with conference presidents. We talked with union. We talked with the treasurers for the general conference. We talked with a whole lot of people, and the ministry grew. Right now we have TJ, who is our tech person here, and we also have Dr. John Mills. He's the one that writes the questions for us. We meet every Monday, and we go over the topics that we're going to discuss. And so, again, this thing can be duplicated. So if you have an idea for ministry, maybe you want to do the same thing, you can do it. Because the more we talk about these issues, the better we'll be on how to find the solution so that we can be impactful.
So, our conversation is on ministry and structure intersecting. You can have a conversation on anything and be able to impact the world, because we have viewers from around the world who watch Pastors Roundtable each week. So don't be afraid to step into this water. Don't be afraid to get into this arena, because you have some good friends who are there to help you. And we're just so thankful that we had this time here at the Tech Lab. We want to give a great shout out to the NAD Ministerial for inviting us to be a part of this. We pray that the experience that we have had here inspires you to be able to do this in your neck of the woods, because everybody is a minister.
That's right.
Everybody
That's right.
It's part of the priesthood of ministry.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So Raj, you usually take us out, man.
Yeah.
So
So
I'm
we-
waiting.
this
I'm
is-
waiting
this
for
is where
that
we always
radio.
stumble.
That's
We
right.
always mess
I'm
up
waiting
right
for that
about here.
radio voice,
Getting
man.
out.
That $1 million voice, Raj.
Well,
Talk
listen,
to us.
let's thank our guests who were here with us, Pastor Cortez and Pastor Williams for joining us, Pastor Richard Martin for joining us, and for all of you live here at the Tech. Let's give yourself a round of applause. Thank you for joining us. We want you to know that this could not happen without you. We thank you for coming and partnering with Pastors Roundtable, where we keep ministry relevant,
Resourced.
And real. God bless.
Thank you, everybody.